What's up everybody? My name is Robert Rushwick with MPH Club and we're back with another review. Today, behind me is the Mclaren 720S. This is one of the top of the line vehicles that McLaren offers, and today we're going to get inside, talk about some of the exterior features, and tell you what's so incredibly special about this car. The Mclaren 720S is powered by a 4-liter V8 twin-turbo engine. It produces 710 horsepower and 570 pound-feet of torque. It drives like a bat out of hell. There's a lot of really cool and special features we're about to get into in this video, but a little more about the specs. The curb weight is about 3,100 pounds, which comparatively is about 300 pounds lighter than the Ferrari 488. There's a lot of features of this car that make it truly special and puts it in the category of supercar. This is not just your regular exotic. If you want to get behind the wheel for yourself, make sure to reach out to MPH Club. We are bringing all these vehicles to you. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to give us a thumbs up and comment down below which car you'd like to see us review next. And then without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the exterior of the car. There's a lot of design changes compared to other McLaren models that we can go over right now. So, the first thing you might notice when looking at the Mclaren 720S is, where'd the headlights go? That's probably the biggest design change. You'll see this bar coming across this gaping hole. This bar is actually your turn signal. The actual headlight is down underneath and shines through. What you'll also notice is there's a lot of space. All of this is open air and is actually part of the ventilation system. If you look down into this hole, you'll actually see an air vent. Everything about this car is super aerodynamic. From all the body lines to the actual vents that do cool the engine, these holes are actually designed for aerodynamics, and down in this space is the air intake for the engine. This is part of the cooling system. Next, we'll talk about the body lines and how every part of this car has been designed to be super aerodynamic. All right, moving along to the quarter panel of this car, you see the gorgeous logo here, 720S, with that striking red S, which matches a lot of the details of our spec of this car. The super large red brake caliper really pops out at you, and we gotta say, these rims are gorgeous. McLaren usually has some really great rim options to pick from, and I think our spec has the best looking rims. That's just my opinion. Comment down below if you disagree. But the next thing you'll notice is we have a ton of carbon fiber detailing. It's not just these mirrors. You probably saw already. There's trim options all around the car with carbon fiber detailing. And when we go to the interior of the car, you're gonna see even more. It's ridiculous how much there is in this car. So next, you'll probably look at this door and get a little confused. There's a lot going on here. Part of the body lines here, like I said earlier, is about aerodynamics. This actually funnels air down, and there's a hole down inside this door that funnels more air to the air intake, which goes straight to this engine. But you might also be concerned with where the door handle is. It's actually tucked away right here behind this vent to reveal the gull wing door. This is another one of the many features that make the 720S insane. Gull wing doors are gorgeous. So we'll keep moving along. On the back quarter panel of the car, you have even more carbon fiber detailing. Part of this slope is, again, more air intake. To use the gas cap, you just press down right here, and that unlocks it. These cars only take super premium gas. Do not put 85 in this. And then you'll notice this gorgeous rear spoiler. Right now it's lifted up, and this is actually actively moving. So when you're driving the car, this will go up and down based on whatever will give you the most amount of downforce. Everything about this car is nuts. It just screams race car. This is just another one of those awesome features. Something else we're gonna go over later is when this is up, it actually changes your last taillight. You have two taillights here in the gorgeous design that McLaren always has, but your third taillight is mounted onto the spoiler. When the spoiler drops down, this is your third brake light here. It's really cool watching it switch, and we'll show you in a little bit. One more thing about the exterior before we go inside the cockpit is the exhaust system. I gotta say, every McLaren and every supercar, sports car that comes with exhaust systems that come mounted up here looks so much better, and it sounds better too. It's actually a closer path to the engine. You get a more full-sounding exhaust system, and maybe we should show you what that sounds like now. I can't stop smiling, it's so much fun. This car, the gauge cluster, is now in standard mode, but when you engage the drive modes and change the track, the gauge cluster changes. That's so cool looking. But basically this is gonna give you only the essentials to let you focus on the driving experience. All you have is your gear, your RPMs, and your speed. All you need. The rest of your attention should be focused on the road in front of you and enjoying this incredible supercar. Let's check out the rest of the interior now. In case the 720S wasn't badass enough on the outside, getting into this car just sets it over the edge. Every surface of this car is wrapped in Alcantara or premium leather or super nice stitching. Literally everything is premium in this car. And the color choice and the spec of this is incredible. Black and red really suits this car. There's so much to get into. First, let's talk about storage and the lack of storage. But you don't really expect to find a ton of storage in a supercar. You do have a front trunk, which does have a good bit of storage. You also have a back shelf here, which does have a good bit more storage. So that's already more than your everyday supercar. You don't have a glove box, but you do have this where you can hide your wallet, and there's actually some charging ports down in the center console storage area. You also have under this bridge another storage place where that might fit your smartphone, where you can let it sit right here. And interestingly enough, there's a secret cubby space which is buried in the door. I don't know if you can see from this angle, but inside the door is an extra cubby where you can hide something. So that's all the storage space for the Mclaren 720S. Next, let's talk about the steering wheel, which is gorgeous. Another accent that has carbon fiber detailing. You also have carbon fiber detailing on the paddle shifters. So if you've never driven a super exotic or luxury car that has paddle shifters, don't be afraid. The car will automatically shift for you. But once you start clicking on these, it will engage manual mode. I definitely recommend learning how to use this driving feature before you get in the car. It's really easy, and if you're running from MPH Club, one of our team members can show you how to do this before you take keys. Moving on, the center console here is really sick. Most cars have a horizontal screen, but this one, rather large, is vertical, which is super unique, something you find only in other McLaren models. What I love about it is the size is the 10.2-inch screen, and you have even more carbon fiber trim. So everywhere, the little subtle details are really important. It really pulls the car together. Next, you'll see this rather unique drive mode selector system. You can toggle between 3 different settings for both your handling and your powertrain. When you're looking at it, the top selector has the letter H below, which stands for handling, and the letter P below, which stands for powertrain. You can select either comfort, sport, or track. And just note, if you're trying to change the drive mode, you have to press the button in the center, which is called active. This must be on for the car to engage whatever drive mode you've selected. If you're driving down the road and you change the track and don't feel any difference, it's probably because you haven't pressed active. Once that's on, that'll engage the drive mode. You'll also notice there is an arrow button at the top of the console. Once this is pushed, that'll activate the rear spoiler, which will actively move to give you the most amount of downforce, because race car, and it'll also activate the air braking system. Your 3 drive modes here are, I don't even want to call them buttons. They're more similar to something you'd find in a fighter jet. There's a lot of features in this car that are more like a fighter jet, but these 3 is how you toggle between drive, neutral, and reverse. Next, talk about AC. You've got 3 main AC vents here, which can totally rotate to point directionally wherever you need to, and then the selector rotates to turn the vent on and off. You also have a smaller vent right above the center console, which you click one time to activate and turn off. I think that's it for the interior. Next, we're gonna take you on the road and tell you what it's like to drive and what the experience is like behind the wheel for ourselves. Ready? Let's go. Okay guys, now we're gonna take the McLaren 720S out on the road. We currently have the car set to comfort in the powertrain and the handling. We're just gonna do our best to explain what it's like to get behind the wheel of this insane spaceship of a car. So, right off the bat, you feel very low to the ground, and the powertrain is super present. The suspension system is great. It's an air suspension system, and you really do feel everything you see yourself driving across. but not in an unpleasant, uncomfortable kind of way, in a very responsive, you know exactly what's happening kind of way. The steering is incredibly precise. With just a small turn, you can turn the whole car incredibly quickly. Like, the turn radius is very great as well. It's hard to forget how much power you have at all times in a car like this. First of all, the exhaust sounds incredible even when you're inside the cockpit. It's not too overbearing like some other cars. The sound suppression in the cockpit is really great. Holy shit. Wow, okay, so I would say this launches better than the Aventador. I think it does. I think this is better than the Aventador. It's definitely in the supercar category. I feel like I gotta experience that one more time. So, now we're going to show you how to engage launch mode in the Mclaren 720S. This vehicle is already a monster. You have a ton of power at your fingertips at all times, and engaging launch mode gives you even more power. So, when doing this, please be on a closed, safe, secure location. Please be smart, wear your seatbelt, obey the speed limits, and without further ado, let's get into the how-to. Step 1, you want to activate your drive mode by clicking active and change your driving mode, like handling and powertrain. Switch and toggle these two selectors into track mode. You'll see the gauge cluster is going to automatically put yourself into track mode, feeding you just your vitals. Then you want to slide your left foot over the brake and put your right over the throttle. Don't press down on the pedal yet. You're going to notice on the central bridge a button labeled launch. When you click this, a yellow light is going to turn on. Once that's on, that's when you know launch mode is engaged and is waiting for full throttle. Launch mode happens when you're giving the vehicle full throttle and you let go of the brake. This is going to give you even more power to get out of a dig even faster. Like I said earlier, this car is already stupid fast, so please be careful when using launch mode. We're going to press the button now and show you what it's like. Are you ready? I'm going to come to a complete stop. You look scared, Max. Don't be. You ready? For real? Oh, there's police here. I'm gonna go around. This concludes our review of the Mclaren 720S. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content, please give us a thumbs up. Sorry if it's getting repetitive this episode, but it really does help. If you want to see us review another car, comment down below what you want to see us do next. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.